Hey, what's up guys? So, welcome indeed to the new Necromancer build for Season 18 Endgame, and this is going to be one of the best builds if you guys are interested in going super fast. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you guys some of the gameplay, and I'll explain what is new in Season 18 that makes this build so powerful. What it really comes down to, though, is the Measure as well as the Squirt's Necklace. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into the gameplay, and basically, you're going to be freezing everything up with Land of the Dead, and you could just walk around and everything just melts and it feels really great. Now, this is one of the fastest builds. However, if you're looking to push greater rifts, there are better options, but this is going to be the speed build for this season. If anyone is interested in just going really fast, you could probably get up to like GR 100 with this, but if you're looking to push like those 120s, you're going to probably need to run another build, but nonetheless, pretty self-explanatory, very fast. I mean, most of the rifts you'll be able to complete in maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. Very fast build, very easy, and console friendly because no numlock is required for this. I'm sure a lot of you console players know what I'm talking about when people explain builds and there's numlock and you're like, well, I can't play that build because it just makes it too difficult to essentially play. But anyways, let's go ahead and just go right back into town. I'm just going to go ahead and clear out this area here. And like I said, you'll be clearing out things super fast with this build, courtesy of Land of the Dead being active forever. Okay, so let's go ahead and explain what is new in Season 18 and why this Necromancer build works, and essentially what is new with this. So really what it comes down to is with the newer update 2.66, we got the new addition of Messersmith's Reaver's new power. Now, these legendaries have existed, but they are technically newer items because they've changed them. So, Messersmith's Reaver makes it so it reduces the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you slay an enemy. It's kind of like Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. It lets you upkeep like some type of Uber ability, like, you know, Archon or Wrath of the Berserker. That's basically the goal of the Messersmith's Reaver. Can you stop talking? Okay, anyways, the Messersmith's Reaver is basically a huge change for this. You can also run Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac if you want to get extra cooldown reduction. Maybe you don't have the amount that you want at the moment, and, you know, obviously, you know, you'll get more cooldown reduction as you're able to re-roll certain gear pieces. But Squirt's Necklace is also a new item, and it makes it so while not taking damage, the damage dealt is increased by up to 100%, and damage taken is increased by up to 50%. So this is going to give you more damage as long as you're not taking damage. Now, how that works in Diablo 3 is shields don't actually count as taking damage with certain things like the Pride Helm. That is another helm where if you take damage, you're going to have less effectiveness of its resource cost reduction. But if you're taking shield damage, it just doesn't count. And I'll explain that mechanic more in depth when I go over how other things work with specifically costs. But basically, this is what I have in the cube. You can actually swap the Squirt's Necklace, you can wear it, and then you can cube actually another item. But basically, these are the two new items that allow this build to work, and this is essentially what is new with this season. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to move over here because the AI is going to keep talking. But basically, that's essentially what makes this build run so well. Now, another thing is the new Captain's set. Now, this is the old Captain set. You don't care about this. We're here to check out the new Captain set. So the old Captain set stats we don't care about. The new ones are the ones that we care about, which I'm going to go ahead and put up on the screen right now. So this is the new Captain Crimson Trimmings. It's going to give you, as a 2-set bonus, you're going to get 6k life regen, you're going to get cooldown reduction by 20%, and also reduce the resource cost of 20%. And then with a 3-set bonus, you're going to have damage dealt is increased by your total percentage of your cooldown reduction, which is the better integer. As in, I'm sure a lot of you guys notice when you put things that have cooldown reduction, let's say it says it gives you 10%. Eventually, you'll get diminishing returns, and that 10% will turn into like 5%, or just a smaller number. Basically, the game is coded to give you diminishing returns as you get more and more cooldown reduction. So that's going to essentially mitigate some of that. And this is going to go ahead and go from the larger number. And then also damage taken is reduced by your total percentage of resource cost reduction. So you get more damage and you're going to be taking less damage. Again, I don't have that here. This is the older one, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to equip it so you guys can get an idea of what it would look like. And we still have the 6-piece bonus. So in this season, the Pestilence is the set that you'll be getting with your season journey. And we're really here for the 2-set bonus, which makes it so each corpse you consume fires a corpse lance at a nearby enemy. That's what allows us to basically walk and just melt everything without having to cast any of our skills. And that's what makes this build super, super fast. But then with the 6-piece bonus, we're able to get additional damage by 1650, but basically it's the Pestilence set. As far as our gear goes, I'll do that after we go ahead and go over our skills. So as far as our passives go, we're running the Dark Reaping, and that's going to mitigate the damage that we're going to be taking with the cost of our health per corpse. So the reason why we run Bloodlance over the Brittle Touch, which is another build that a lot of people are using. This one's a little bit more optimized because you don't actually have to cast anything. This is like a lazier and faster way to proc certain things. And that's why I wanted to make this video. But basically, Corpse Lance is going to spend 2% of our total health to launch another lance. So that will proc our other things that will, let's say, give us extra like attack speed or just anything that's going to proc certain things. This is another thing that can proc certain other integers or anything in the end. Basically, just you're going to get another lance, but it costs 2% of our health. This passive makes it so that basically mitigates that 2% cost. Fatal Service, this can be swapped in and out for anything that you want to. Fueled by Death is just going to give you more movement speed. The only important things really are going to be the Dark Reaping as well as Blood is Power. So Blood is Power is what makes this build so strong. So after losing 100% of your maximum life, all ability cooldowns are reduced by 20%. This effect cannot reduce an ability's cooldown more than once for each time that the ability is used. So the reason why I'm able to spam Blood Rush super, super fast is because I have Metabolism, which is going to give us an extra charge, but because Blood is Power is going to be proccing super, super fast because of Corpse Lance, that's what allows us to really get that effect of Blood is Power like all the time. And that's what makes this build just a little bit faster than some of the other builds. Even though we're only saving like anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, when the whole run is like 2 to 3 minutes, that actually adds up to a huge amount of time when you factor in doing, you know, hundreds of runs, if you're doing like, you know, speed runs. But as far as our skills go, Corpse Lance, Blood Lance, Devour, Devouring Aura, Blood Rush, Metabolism, the important part is it's costing more health. And that's totally fine because that's going to proc Blood is Power more. And then we have Land of the Dead, Frozen Lands because, well, the build is relatively squishy, but it doesn't really matter if the things aren't going to be moving anyways. And then Bone Spear, I'm running the Cold on it just so I can proc Crispins, which is a ring, and I'll show you that in a second. But basically it's just Cold for that. And then Command Skeleton's another Cold just so I can proc Crispins. And in addition to that, you kind of want Command Skeletons or anything that's going to not have a casting animation. The reason why this works better than, let's say, the other build that a lot of people are using, which is basically using Tragwolves. If you're really pushing high greater of CI and you're running this, yeah, Tragwolves plus running a Curse will probably be better. But for the most part, if you're doing the faster builds, you don't need that at all. And the reason why is because instead of running around and then slowing down and then, let's say, casting let's go ahead and just put the curse over here. Whatever curse. Usually people are running something that's going to, usually it's this. This actually has a casting animation where my character stops, right? That makes it a little bit slower, and that's to basically proc Blood is Power. That's why some people are using that, but the way I set it up is for the build to be super easy, and you literally just need to use one button, and that's why I like my build so much. And that's essentially why I wanted to make this video, because I felt like it was super, super efficient. But anyways, yeah, that's the reason why you want something that doesn't have a casting animation. Well, there's no enemies here, but basically you can just you mouse over the target, and then it'll just basically do it, and it'll... If you're running Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, though, yeah, Command Skeletons will proc off of it, and that will be excellent for that. So keep that in mind as well. But as far as our gear goes, let's go ahead and go over what I'm running. So obviously 6-piece Pestilence. You want to get increased Corpse Lance damage on your shoulders as well as your chest, and then the rest is just get cooldown reduction where you can. And then obviously crit hit, damage, crit hit chance if possible. And then just throw a diamond in your helm, extra cooldown reduction, because that's also going to give you damage. Now as far as what you want as an amulet, you can go with the Johnstone or the Scorched Necklace, or this is also a new item, the Flavor of Time. It doesn't really matter. You basically want Scorched Necklace in either the cube or just equip it. Scorched Necklace will always roll like 100%. Like this, I could cube this and run Scorched Necklace and technically be more effective, but I didn't have cooldown reduction, and I kind of wanted cooldown reduction because that's really important for the build to have this uptime. This is the most important thing in this build because you want everything to be frozen just so it takes extra damage with, of course, your Crispins, but also and this is just going to give us extra stacks of Macabre Knowledge. Interestingly enough, it gives you 50 stacks that are going to give you 50 extra shots of bonus damage with your corpse lance, which if you look at this, that it costs 2% per corpse. With that 50 stacks at 2% each, that actually adds up to 100%, so it's a perfect number for Blood as Power. So that's another like bonus with this. It just makes that kind of easier to like manage when Blood as Power is essentially reprocking. But if you're wondering why I'm running Molten Wildebeest Gizzard, so interesting enough, when you take damage via shield, it does not actually make Squirt's necklace let you reduce the amount of damage that you're taking. Plus, because I'm going to be spending life, and this build is not fully optimized, again, with the 2-set bonus of Captain Crimson, you'll get an extra 6k life regen, even though this gives us way, way more than necessary. You don't have to run this. It's literally just something that I was kind of just testing out. I kind of wanted to run a new gem, to be honest. But for the gems, again, earlier in the game, yeah, sure, you can go for this if you are dying. But it's also because if you're not taking damage, this is going to add up to 100% more damage. So you could swap this out. But the more important gems are going to be Bane of the Trapped, as well as your Gogok of Swiftness. Gogok of Swiftness is going to give you more attack speed. And attack speed is actually something important, which is something I want to mention real quick. This is going to be the thresholds at which you're going to have more corpses consumed per animation. I'll link this down below if anyone wants to check it out, but the more attack you have, basically the more corpses that will be consumed, therefore proccing your things a little bit more. But basically, as far as the Gogok of Swiftness, you're really utilizing it for that cooldown reduction. Again, as much cooldown reduction as possible, that's more damage, as well as, again, more uptime on Land of the Dead. So 6-piece bonus of the Pestilence, doesn't really matter which ones you're using, but the belt, you'll have to have the Captain Crimson's. The pants can be the Pestilence, or the boots can be the Pestilence, but again, you want the new Captain Crimson's, not the ones that you see right here, but it's the newer ones. Pretty much, as far as rings go, Royal Ring of Grandeur is going to be required, as well as Crispin's. Optionally, you can run Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac if you want to. Cube, whatever one you want to cube, go for it. Usually, I recommend cubing Crispin's unless it rolls really, really good, because this can go up to 100%, and it can roll 75%. Because remember, this is going to be tripled, and if it's 75%, you're losing up to another 75%. I usually, like I said, just pretty much just cube this unless you have like amazing luck. But yeah, these are going to be required essentially. Red Ring Grandeur, Crispin's required. The other ring could be, it could be Lornell's, it could be Conviction of Elements, it could be Unity. Again, just cube whatever one, or you can, if you just have Squirt's Necklace, you can equip that. But this gem again is optional, Molten. The required ones are Gogok and of course Bane of the Trap again to proc Crispin's. As far as the weapon goes, you can actually have a few options. Yugioh is one of my personal favorites just because it's more uptime on this, and because it's a speed build, I want to one-shot everything. I'm not one-shotting the build's not running properly. And then we also have Tregules as an option. This is going to be for if you want to push higher greater rifts, just to curse the enemy. You can swap off the Bone Spear or Command Skeletons, and you can go ahead and run a Curse, and then that's going to give you that bonus damage, specifically against like Rift Guardians, but for the most part, this just procs so fast, it just melts everything. Echoing Fury also got a new change to this season. I guess I should say 2.66. But anyways, it slaying enemies engulfs the wielder into a frenzy. This can stack up to 5 times, and it's 5% each one, and you can get up to 25% attack speed and movement speed. And if you happen to have your cooldown like super, super good, by all means throw an Echoing Fury because you're going to proc things a little bit faster, and you move faster. Other things, if you are still in the middle of like your build, Aquila Caress could be good. That's going to give you extra damage reduction because you don't actually have like something that costs Essence. And then your Stuart Greaves can also be okay. If you haven't gotten like the set yet, you can swap these in and out until you, of course, get the full build. But then also Lost Time is kind of okay. It just makes so Cold Skill reduces the movement speed of enemies by 30%, and your movement is increased by 5% for 5 seconds, and it gives you up to 5 seconds, so this can give you additional movement speed. But honestly, all that really matters is just an Ancient offhand. That's really all that matters for this. But yeah, there is our build for this season 18 Necromancer. It's, again, one of the fastest and best builds, especially if you're playing console. This is going to be so much easier on your hands. You literally, all you have to do is every so often activate this, and then just go ahead and Blood Rush and just teleport around. It's just a really easy build to play. And again, important thing, Squirt's Necklace, even though it costs life, it's not activating the damage taken. So Squirt's Necklace is just going to be excellent for that. But anyways, yeah, new build over there, and for the cube,
That is not possible.
this is what we're running. Once again, squirts and measurements are the big changes. Now, if any of you guys are playing this season and you're trying to figure out what's useful with Kadala early on, as far as level 11 goes, you can actually acquire Squirt's Necklace. So if you want to do your weekly challenge rift, go ahead and get those blood shards. At level 11, you can go ahead and try to get the Squirt's Necklace and just go ahead and throw it in the cube. I know this one doesn't have the newer stat changes, but this is just via D3Planner. I'll link that down below if any of you guys want that. And as far as measurements go, if you craft it on the Necromancer, in case anyone wants to get this on another class, measurements is really easy to get because it's a 1 out of the 4 chances to actually craft it using those death breaths with the Hope of Cain. And then if you are also starting out in the season and you want to go ahead and Hope of Cain something, definitely recommend in the very beginning to craft one of these. It's obviously random what you're getting, but do the Hope of Cain. If you throw any one of these in the cube, you're going to get a huge amount of damage increase because all of them are multipliers. Easy, 100% chance to get something good. Like, all of these are great for leveling up. And then as far as like early on the shoulders at level 30, you can gamble for the Corpse Whisper Pauldrons, which are the ones that are going to increase your Corpse Lance damage, which essentially is what this build is all about. Now, I also made a video going over everything that's new, and if you guys want to know, like, you know, what else did they add to this, there is a new legendary gem. There's a few other changes and a few other items, but they're not really important for this video, so we're not going to cover them here, but I'll link it down below in case any of you guys do want to check that out. And lastly, I do want to mention that we are going to be playing this season live on Twitch, and if you guys want to join up, you know, it's just going to be whoever can join the games, I guess, the fastest. You guys are welcome to come in and play with me. We're going to be doing softcore, and I would prefer if you are playing with me to play a Necromancer so we can gear share and we can grind to 70. And for those of you guys that always like to come in and get rushed to 70, we'll be doing that also in the stream after, of course, we can gear up, and I'll rush you guys to 70 as well. But anyways, yeah, that is the new fastest Necromancer build for speed clearing areas. And like I said, mine's not even optimized. I'm running the, like, I didn't even have like the captain set, but we would get like a bonus of a lot more damage and damage mitigation. And this build is definitely going to be one of the better builds this season. It's really fun. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel here, hit the subscribe button, turn that bell if you'd like to see more Diablo content. And if you guys want to, by the way, Discord, Diablo 3, I'll make a Diablo section. If any of you guys want to go ahead and party up and do gear share and all that stuff, the Discord will be also down below in the description box. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one, and good luck on your drops on Season 18. But thanks for coming in, guys, and I'm out. Peace.